Good morning to everybody. I am Rajavelu from Alagappa University. For the past 2 days, we have seen the various types of temple architecture in India, the basic forms, as well as the rocket architecture of Tamil Nadu. Today, we are going to see the monumental work of Chola period. The Cholas, who occupied the fertile region of Tanjavur and Tiruchirappalli area, around 850 AD, under the leadership of Vijayalaya Sola. He was the first king. He was the founder of the Chola dynasty at Tanjavur. We don't have any reference of Tanjavur in the Sangam literature. The earliest reference of Tanjavur, the place where the Cholas made their capital, we have come across in the Tiruchirappalli rock cut. There is an inscription of 4th or 5th century AD. It mentions the place names as Tanjaharaha. This is the earliest reference of Tanjavur. We have some literary evidences from Devaram as well as Nalayira Divya Prabandham around 6th or 7th century AD. There was a temple in Tanjavur sung by the Nayanmars. They have not directly came over there and worshipped the deity, but they stayed somewhere else and they praised the Lord of the temple. It is referred to as Tanjai Talikulam. This is a Vaiputalam. They have not directly came and praised the Lord, witnessed the Lord there, but they mentioned the name of the temple as Tanjai Talikulam. Hence, the city might have been started their function during that time. However, the Tamil University made some excavations near Vallam on the western part of Tanjavur, the suburb of Tanjavur, and they found the settlement around 3rd century BC itself. It shows that Tanjavur was existence in the Sangam period too. We have some Pallava inscriptions within the temple complex of Tanjavur itself, Tanjavur temple itself, the Pragadishwara temple itself. It shows that there was a temple within the complex of the Pragadishwara temple, that is Rajarajeshwaram, around 4th or 5th century AD. It could be the Vaiputaram, that is Tanjai Talikulam, because we don't have the Tanjai Talikulam now. At present, there is no Tanjai Talikulam in the name of Tanjai Talikulam at Tanjavur itself. The Talikulam, the tank, probably the present Sevaganga tank, might have been the place where we have that Tanjai Talikulam, because we have the Dandivarman inscriptions on the inner wall of the Mahamandapa of Pragadishwara temple itself. But we know that this temple was constructed by the great king Rajaraja first. The sculptors and the architect made this temple and they inserted some of the black stones in the earlier temple, which were ruined in condition. They recovered the stone slabs and again they fixed on the walls of the Pragadishwara temple when they constructed around 1006 AD. So we have nearly 26 inscriptions of pre-Rajaraja period. We have the inscription of Parandaka Chola, we have the inscription of Sundara Chola, we recovered nearly 25 to 26 inscriptions within the complex of this temple. So it is a surprise to note that there was a temple period to Rajaraja within the complex of Pragidishwara temple known as Rajarajeshwaram. So let us see the forms of the temple, the architectural marvelous of the temple in this class. The architecture of Tamil Nadu became gradually standardized by the end of the 9th century AD. Period to Cholas, we have the Pallavas. They have not only contributed to scoop the rocket chambers, rocket mandabas, or rocket caves, and also the monolithic radhas at Mahabalipuram. They patronage structural temples also. They constructed many structural temples in their capital city itself. For example, the Kailasanatha temple, Vaikuntha Perumal temple, some small temples, small science-like temples like Madangeshwara, Mukteshwara, Prabhadineshwara, Jargeshwara, like that. We have the structural temple at Mamalapuram. It is a contribution of Rajasimha II. That is the fine example of structural temple. And also we have the structural temple at Panamalai. So the architect knew the art of architectural technique, and they developed more in the succeeding period. In the latter Pallavas also, some of the latter Pallava kings, they also made some contributions. The Tirthani Veeratanaswara temple is fine example. It was built during the time of Abrajitha Varman. So we have some latter Pallava temples at Uttarameru itself. That is Vaikuntha Perumal temple, the Sundaravara Raja Perumal temple, and some of the important temples. They are all followed on the basis of Vastusastra and Silpasastra, and the architect and the sculptors, they were well versed and they well trained in the succeeding period traditionally. This is the photograph taken during the time of pre-independence period. This is the view of our Pragadishwara temple. It is not a Pragadishwara temple. It is referred to as Rajarajeshwaram in inscriptions after the name of Rajaraja, the builder of the temple. So you can see the Nandi Mandapa and Mandapa. It is not available now. It was on the southeast corner of the same complex. We don't have now. So the trees are also there. So after the Archaeological Survey of India taken over this, they removed all these things and they cleared everything. Now they are protecting the temple in a fantastic manner. So this is the early view of early photo we have. The Cholas in their inscription as well as in their copper plates, they claim that they were the descendants of the Sangam age Cholas. They ruled over from Urayur as their capital city, the present Trisapalli area, and disappeared around 3rd century AD. Again, they appeared around 850 AD after the war against the Pallavas at Tirupurambiyam around 850 AD. The first king was Vijayalaya Chola. He founded the city Tanjavur. As I said earlier, it was existence earlier under the control of Muttarayar. He recovered the city from Muttarayars. They were the subordinates under the Pallavas of 9th century AD. Then the king Vijayalaya installed a goddess temple, namely the Mahishasura Mardini, that is in the name of Nisambasudani. The temple is there, still it is there on the eastern part of Tanjavur at Pevar. So he installed the Nismasudani. After after Vijayalaya, Aditya came to power. He also contributed some temples in Tamil Nadu. And afterwards, his son Parandaga, he came to power in 907 AD. He was a great builder. So he patronaged many temples. He gave liberal donations to Sidambaram temple, and he covered entire the Naraja Mandapa into gold, the Ponnambalam. That was a contribution of Parandaga Chola. So he also a great builder, and he patronaged all the religion, including the Jainism and Buddhism too. And this is also the earlier photo. You can see the two Gobrams and the Vimana, the entire Rajarajaswaram complex, that is Pragadishwara temple. The Pragadishwara is nothing but the big temple, Periya Koyil in Tamil. Pragadishwara is a later form of Rajarajaswaram. It came around after 16th century AD only. The name Pragadishwaram appeared in the inscriptions during the time of Nayak's period and Maratha period. This temple is referred to as Pragadishwara or Pragadishwaram. And Praganayagi, the goddess name is Praganayagi or Periyanayagi. That was the latter concept of the temple. So this is the temple covered with the fortification wall, and it served as the staying of war troops by the French people as well as the English people also. Sometimes they occupied because since it is a good fortifications wall, they were accommodated here, and they stayed here, and they used this temple as a weapon house. So this is the temple view. We have the arch type arch shape entrance. That was the contribution of Marathas, and there is a basin. Is there a mode also is here? This is the entire Tanjavur, the city encircled by a fortification wall. This is we have the fort wall of Tanjavur. This is existed period to Cholas because it is known as Injisur Tanjai. Inji means this is the fortified city. So it could be the earliest fortification wall constructed by the either Muttarayars or some other dynasties earlier than Cholas. So this is the entrance. The first entrance is the contribution of Marathas, and again we have the Kerala Vail. So after the conquest of Kerala, Rajaraja had a title Kerala. So this is the Kerala Tiruvayil or Kerala. It has a five tires. It has a five tire talas, Aindu Talam, 5 talas, and is a typical Dravidian model. So this is the earliest lofty Gopuram of that period. We have the Gopura concept in the Kailasanatha temple itself, but afterwards we have in this temple only. Then the next Gopuram we have in this temple complex. It is known as Rajarajan, saying the name of king, the builder of the temple. So it is the contribution of his commander-in-chief. The year it started, we have the Pradakshina Pada, that is the Trichuttu Maligai. So the outer Trichuttu Maligai, but inner circumambulatory passage we have within the Garbhagriha itself in this temple. The outer pragara wall constructed by his commander-in-chief, Krishnan Raman, Brahmana commander, yes, Brahmadiraya. His name is Krishnan Raman, and he served under the Cholas of Rajaraja Soda, and continued even during the time of Rajendra Chola also. So he always accompanied with him in many wars. So he lost his one eye also in the later period, or during the time of Rajendra, he lost his eye. Then he got the title Narakkan Krishnan Raman. It was there in the inscription. His name is Narakkan Krishnan Raman. His native place is Amankudi. So very near to Kumbhakonam, there is a place known as Amankudi. So this is the pragara, and he used all his soldiers to construct the temple, because when we did some conservation work in the pragara, northern pragara side, we recovered some stones under the pragara floor, beneath the ground level. The boulders, we have some inscriptions. On the boulder, we have some names, the title of the warrior names are there. So it shows that the construction of the pragara mostly engaged by the warriors, that is Padaveeratal. They use army people to construct the outer pragara wall. So this is a two-tier outer pragara wall. We don't have anywhere in Tamil Nadu, but now we are seeing only the first floor. I will show that afterwards. The second floor, in due course, due to natural calamity or some man-made activities, it disappeared. But we have some walls in the first floor itself. Now also it is there. So some of the substance are there in the first floor itself, in the pragara, the first pragara wall. Again we have this Vimana. It's a lofty Vimana. It is the tallest Vimana in India. Generally, the entrance of the superstructure of the entrance known as Gobra. We have the two Gobras. This is Gobras, and above the Garbhagriha, that is known as Vimana. This is nearly 216 feet height, 13 talas. We have 13 talas. It is a typical Dravidian order. The Karnakudus and Panjaras and Sala in the center, and again Panchara, the Karnakudus are there. In each tala we have this series. It goes in diminishing order. So the Karnakudus generally in square shape, and Panjara for beautification of the Vimana, they made Panjaras, and we have the Sigaras, that Sala is there with Nasi, and again we have the Panjaras and Kudus. So it is runs towards up to 13 talas. So we have the Griva and Sigara and Kalasa. This is a typical Dravidian order. This is this temple. We have some marvelous. That is it is a pinnacle of Chola art. We can say this is the finest example of the Chola architecture. Under the able leader Rajaraja, he built this temple with the help of architect without any cementing material, binding material we don't have. This is Tachu, Kal Tachu. It looks like a wooden architecture. This is the fine example of the Cholas. So there we have nearly 150 inscription of various dynasties, starting from the time of Pallavas. So I can say Pallavas because most of the people don't know whether it is a there were some early inscriptions, but we found some early inscriptions. You can also go and see that some fragmentary inscription, fragmentary stone fixed on the walls of Pragadishwara temple itself. So they took these slabs, these stones from the same area. So they used for the construction of the Pragadishwara temple in 1006 AD. So we have Paradaga inscriptions and we have the Dandivarman inscriptions. If you go to Tanjavur, you can see the Rajarajan, the bronze statue. Now they placed in the Mandapa, very near to the Mandapa, very near to the bronze image. On the left side of the statue, you can find a wall. There we have the Dandivarman inscriptions. It says the name of the king Dandi. So it is a clear indication that the Pallava also made some contribution to the earlier temple. So nearly 21 inscriptions we have. So we have the Poundara inscription, that is Rajaraja inscription. It says this is the Rajaraja inscriptions on the northern Garbhagriha wall on the Jagadi portions. This is the first inscription of Rajaraja. It says it starts with his Prasasti and mentions Tanjavur Sri Rajaraja Devarku Yandu 25வது 29வது தஞ்சாவூர் கோயில் உள்ளால் இருமடி சோழனின். This is there in the inscription. He ordered to give some donations, not only him, his sister, but the people to this after the configuration of the deity, after the function of the temple. He gave some 20 donations starting from 29th regnal year. It says, so it is mentioned the location of the temple. Then he claims that தாம் எடுப்பிச்ச திருக்கட்டளி தஞ்சாவூரில் தாம் எடுப்பிச்ச திருக்கட்டளி ஸ்ரீ ராஜராஜேஸ்வரம், like that it is mentioned. So this is the first inscription of Rajaraja we have in the on the northern wall, very near to the Sandigeswara sign. The Sandigeswara sign also built during the same period, during the time of Rajaraja, because you know that generally the Chandigeswara is the accountant of the Shiva temple. So he will be placed on the northern side of the main deity, main temple. So that was a contribution of Rajaraja himself. So in front of the Chandigeswara shrine, we have this the Garbhagriha wall. Here you can see the first inscription which mentions the construction of temple at Tanjavur. It is known as Rajarajeshwaram. This is he gave extraordinary gifts to the temple. Not only him, his sister. தாம் கொடுத்தனவும் அக்கன் கொடுத்தனவும் பெண்டுகள் கொடுத்தனவும் கொடுத்தார் கொடுத்தனவும். It mentions like that. So not only him, his sister, his wives, he is having nearly 11 wives, and கொடுத்தார் கொடுத்தனவும், the people also gave the large number of gold ornaments, large number of precious stones like Vairam, Vaidurium, diamond, Vaidurium, all the gifts they measured in the respective weights and made some Panchalokas also, and the entire Vimana also. The entire Vimana, it means the Adhisthana to Stubi, up to Stubi is known as Vimana. Nearly 216 feet height. He covered the entire Vimana into gold. There is a inscription in the Rajarajan Tiruvayil to the left wall of the, to the left side of the Rajarajan Tiruvayil. We have the fragmentary inscription of Rajaraja it says that Sri Rajarajan, Sri Vimanam Pon Veida. It is there. The inscriptions, recently we found the inscription. It says that the entire Vimana is covered with gold. So it is summarizing that they are very systematically, they have done everything, they recorded everything on the temple walls. So large number of donations, not only donations, loan donations. He appointed many employees, nearly 1,200 employees. They served in this temple, including the women employees. They were the government employees, known as Talicheri Pendugal, not Devadasi, Talicheri Pendugal. In the latter period only, they were referred to as Devadasi, Devaradiyal, not Devadasi, Devaradiyal. Devaradiyal means one who attached with the temple. So the latter period only in the around 17th, 18th century only, the name Devaradiyal become the name became the Sanskrit form of form. We have the Devadasi. We don't have any Devadasi system in the early days. They were the people attached with the temple. They were the people served in the temple for puja and for helping pujas. They cleaned the temple and they brought flowers and water for the day-to-day affairs of the temple. So they were appointed elsewhere from the other temples. It is mentioned that all the lady employees, they were mentioned. They were given salary also. They were given salary. They were allotted quarters. Ondram Veedu, Irandam Veedu, Mundram Veedu, like that. All the women names were figured in the inscriptions. They have been given quarters. At present, the government employees, they are getting quarters like that. They, for residential purpose, they are having quarters like that. Ondram Veedu, Irandam Veedu, Mundram Veedu. They served elsewhere. They attached some other temples in and around Tanjavur region. He brought them and transferred them to this temple, because this is the great temple in those days. So since it is a capital city, so naturally they were appointed in the temple itself. This is the plan of the temple. I will show that this is nearly 250 meter breadth to 500 meter length. The lengthy in rectangular portion of plan. This is the main Gopuram and the second Gopuram. This is Karalandagan and Rajarajan, built during the time of Rajarajan himself. I already mentioned it was built by his commander-in-chief, Krishan Raman. Again, the main portions of the temple, the main chambers of the temple, the Garbhagriha, and attached with the Antarala, and again another mandapa, a front mandapa, and a porch, that is portico, the Mugapu, is also the contribution of Rajaraja, and we have the Sandigeswara on the northern side of the main temple. That was the contribution of Rajaraja himself. So the Rajaraja buildings, the contributions we have indicated in this map, and the Pandyas, they made some contributions to the temple, and also during the time of Pandyas, there is a separate shrine for Amman, the goddess Praganayagi or Periyanayagi, during the time of Pandya period, because after 1350 it was occupied by the Pandyas. Then we have some contribution of Nayaks also. Nayaks too, they contributed some different mandapa of the Amman shrine. It is the contribution of Nayaks period, and we have the Parivara deities, the Subramania shrine, the beautiful Subramania shrine, the miniature form of Subramania shrine, the architecture marvelous of Nayak period, we can see there in the Subramania temple many miniature sculpted in this within the complex of Subramania temple. That was the contribution of Nayaka period of 17th century on the northwestern corner. That is, this is a substituting deity for Subramania, and the front mandapa also is a contribution of Nayak period. Again, on the southwest side, we have the separate Vinayaka shrine that was a contribution of Maratha. So Maratha also contributed many work they have also done in this temple, and they consequently they made some pujas and festivals also, and they repaired even the Kalasa during Sarabhoji period, and there is inscription on the Kalasa itself, on the Sigara itself, on the Kalasa itself, in later Tamil script. This is the temple complex. Actually, the this Pragara wall, we know that it's a contribution of Krishan Raman, and it is a two-storied Pragara wall. This is two-storied with accommodated for all deities, including the Digbalas and other mini gods. So we have a separate shrine for even the Vinayaka Ganesha on the Pragara wall itself. That is a Ganapati. Is there separate Ganapati installed during the time of Rajaraja himself? Afterwards, the Marathas built a separate shrine for Vinayaka, and they consecrated the separate Vinayaka in their temple, in the shrine. So we have a Rajarajan Vinayaka in the Pragara Mandapa. So this is the plan of the temple, and this is the very neatly built by Rajaraja around 1006 AD. This is the second Gobra. It has a three-tier Gobra with the flanked by two door keepers, that is Dwarapalagas, and it is also very neatly accommodated with many sculpture. It's made of stone, so it is a surprise to know that we don't have any hill within the vicinity of Tanjavur region, because this is a fertile region. The Kaveri is flowing in this district. We don't have any hills near Tanjavur. They brought the stones from either from Pudukkottai, mostly Pudukkottai region, and Tiruchirappalli region. There were quarries there. So they brought all the stones from elsewhere, nearly 75 to 80 kilometers away from Tanjavur, and they built this gigantic temple with the help of the subjects as well as the people. This is a three-story Gobra. It is known as Rajarajan Gobra. We have the inscriptions. I mentioned that we are having the inscriptions of Rajaraja. It refers to the covering of gold from the bottom to the top. The Sri Vimanam Punveda. It is there on the left side of the entrance. This is the horizontal divisions of Pragadishwara temple, the plan and sections. So in the center we have the Garbhagriha, and attached with a Antarala to the Mahamandapas, divided into two Mandabas. It's served as a Ardha Mandapa or Mahamandapa in a larger manner, and we have a Mugapu. This is the contribution of Rajaraja, and we have on the northern side the Sandigeswara, and this is the Pragara walls built by his commander-in-chief, and the other Gobram is separately is there. It's a open Gobra. This is the plan of the Rajarajeshwara. So this I have mentioned that there is no hills at all in the vicinity of Tanjavur. So they brought all the black up stones like the granite stone elsewhere from Pudukot region. Probably it could be Narthamalai and and some other hills of Pudukot region, and also from Tiruchirappalli. So they transported everything to Tanjavur through elephants and other transportation, and made this temple in tremendous manner. And the sculpture probably they would have ordered from Tiruvakkarai. Tiruvakkarai, you know that it is in Sauthaga district, very near to Pondicherry. There still it is a place where we get a good specimen of sculptures till day. So probably they would have ordered the sculptures for deities and other sculptures to accommodate in the temple. They brought from Tiruvakkarai. Why I am saying this? The Nandi Mandapa, we have now the Nandi Mandapa. The Nandi Mandapa is having the Nandi of late period. That is a contribution of Nags period. A big Nandi we have at Tanjavur at present. It is not a contribution of Cholas because there is a Nandi, a statue, Nandi sculpture, a big Nandi sculpture very near to Tiruvakkarai area. That place is known as Sanyasi Kuppam. There we found some big Nandi. This is a place. This is the area. Highway runs in those days. That is Tanjai Peruvadi from Thondai Mandalam to Tanjavur region. They have to cross this way only. So there is a big Nandi in a dilapidated condition, in a damaged condition. So that after seeing the size of the Nandi, it could be accommodated only in this temple only, because this is a biggest Nandi so far I found. So they brought when they wanted to brought this when they wanted to bring this Nandi on the way, it has fallen down and had some damage. That's why they left the Nandi and they installed a ready-made Nandi at the time of consecration. And after seeing the Nandi size, the Nayaks replaced the old Nandi, and the present Nandi was installed by them. These are the possible things we have on the basis of our discoveries. This is the technology. They use this kind of technology. There is a traditional story is there. There is one pallam is there. They raise the mud. Each tire, when they raise the mud also. They transport all the material through this the Sayar pallam like that. It is there. Even a place names also there. So they raised the mud around the superstructure of the Vimana when they constructed the each tire. They made it, and they transport the all other stone and other things. So this is the technology that was practiced by, but was used by the Chola architects. The Chola architect names also there in the temple itself. So the Rajaraja Perundachan, the Kunjaramalla Perundachan, his assistant, and another assistant is also there. The chief architect is Rajaraja Perundachan. Is there in the inscription. The earlier Pallavas. So this is the, as I said earlier, they were well versed. They got trained. Traditionally they got trained, the architects and the sculptors. The earlier Pallavas showed the way for making all stones temples. The brick medium was replaced by stone of easily tractable nature like sandstone, because so for every gap of times the brick medium generally it will be collapsed. So that's why they made permanent temple by stones. So the contribution of Uttama Chola's mother, Sembian Madhyavi, you know that. So she converted many brick temples, many temples praised by the Nayanmars. She converted into stone, single tali, kattaliya maathirukanga. So she converted all the brick temple, earlier brick temples into stone. So this is the period we have come across large number of stone temples. Then experiments were done in Cholamandalam also at places like Vijayalaya Soriswaram. Vijayalaya Soriswaram I told already, at Narthamalai in Pudukkottai region. It was a contribution of Muttarayars, not by the Cholas, the first king Vijayalaya Chola. So though the name is known as, referred to as Vijayalaya Soriswaram, but it is not connected with Vijayalaya at all. It is a contribution of Muttarayars. They were the subordinate under the Cholas. Then we have Kodumbalur. Kodumbalur also ruled over by the Kodumbalur Valleys. That was the fine variety of temples, a group of monuments in dilapidated conditions at Kodumbalur. They are the fine examples of early phase of Chola period, though they are not directly connected with that. But the fine examples are the specimens of the earlier phase we have at Narthamalai, Kodumbalur. The Narthamalai temple, that is also Sandhara type. And again here also the Koranada temple is also Sandhara type. That was a contribution of Parandaga. And also this is also Sandhara type. I will show that what is Sandhara in the next slides and next slides. Then Kodumbalur, then Panangudi, Yanadi, they are the earlier temples of Chola period, the early Chola period. Then Pallavas generally adopted, already I told that what are the contributions of for the structural temples. Pallavas generally adopted placing the stone blocks in lateral way, forming the wall of desired thickness. Even the Pallavas also, they used the sandstone in their temples, in the Kailasanath temple, and we have Vaikuntha Perumal temple. They are all made of sandstones. Even the Shishore temples also sandstone. They are all a little bit weak stones, but that is easily the carved sculptures and slabs. But the granite is very difficult to cut. But the Cholas used the granite only for long preservation. Then Cholas made it stronger by bonding the inner and outer blocks by a masonry structure without interlinking it. There is no interlinking it. They made blocks of stones they used for construction of the temple. This is also the old photos. I want to show that you cannot find out anywhere. So that's why I am showing it. So these are the earlier things. You can see the mandapa. Even the front mandapa in front of the Garbhagriha, you will find out the superstructure above the floor level. So it is also a double-story mandapa constructed by Rajaraja. So sometime it was collapsed. So the architecture of India retained the as it was when they took over the temple. So you can see the Nasika, the door above the first floor, the ground floor. We have some superstructure. So it shows that it runs up to east. The entire mandapa, the first floor mandapa also, This is a typical, we do not find anywhere in Tamil Nadu this kind of superstructure mandapa, but we have in the cave architecture in Andhra Pradesh, the Undavalli and some other mandabas scooped by the Chalukyas. At Badami, we have the 2 floors mandapa like temples. We have, but here the structural temple, for the first time, we have the Mahamandapa and Arthamandapa with the first floor. So it is a marvelous of contribution of Rajaraja. So it is collapsed in due course. So this is the earlier structural temple. I have mentioned that this is the Seashore temple constructed around 8th century AD by Rajasimha II, and this is made of sandstone. It's a beautiful temple at Mamallapuram, and consisting of 3 shrines, 2 for Shiva and 1 for Vishnu, the reclining Vishnu. And again, this is the group of monuments contributed by the Kodumbalur chiefs, very near to, on the way to Pudukottai. On the way to Madurai, we have Kodumbalur. That was the capital city of the Kodumbalur chiefs. They were the subordinate under the Cholas. A beautiful structural temple with Nagra. You see the Nagra type of Vimana in this group of monuments, and we have the Dravida form of Vimana also. This is 5 in number. Mover Koil or Ivar Koil. It is known as Ivar Koil, and now it is collapsed. It is known as Mover Koil or Ivar Koil at Kodumbalur. This is again, I have shown the same thing, the old photo of Brihadishwara. He started the temple around 1006. He planned in the year 1004 AD. He came to power in 995 AD and ruled up to 1014 AD. So he started his career after conquering Kerala, that is Kandalur Salai, and conquered Madurai also, Ira Mandalam, everything. It is in the Prasasti. So his son is a able commander, that Rajendra Chola. He is always concentrated on war, and that was a period the Chola country had a peaceful life, because the king always in the capital city and looking after the state affairs, and his son made many war. Even he crossed up to he crossed the seas. He went up to even Kadaram. So Southeast Asian country also he went there. So this is the period we have come across many developments in the history of Tamil Nadu. So he was an innovator of many things. The Rajaraja the Great is the innovator of many things. He only started the political divisions like Valanadu, and he created many mandalams also. He conquered the entire Sri Lanka, that is Ceylon, and he divided the countries for the purpose of administrations. He appointed many administrative people in his state. So, and also he made even revenue survey during his time. So this was a period witnessed for the welfare of state. There is a matrices. Selection of a site. This is a laterite. You know that the Tanjavur is a laterite, the metamorphic ground is there. That is a red-like metamorphic ground area. It's a little bit hard ground area, though it is having Kaveri Delta. The area he has selected here to accommodate this temple is a good area. Selection of a site of laterite boulder. about 12 meter below. So if you see that the they scooped only 12 meter, the 12 meter or 6 feet below the present ground level, and he scooped the entire um, area, and he built the lower base of the temple and raised the lofty Vimana to 216 feet. So filled with sand, the architects filled sand, the pure sand, and above that they made this temple and Murram on boulders. And this is their type of technology they used, the engineering skills they had in those days. The Adhisthana to the second tier, forming the base for the tall Vimana, is found to be strengthened with inner masonry of brick and lime. So it was filled with brick and jellies, that brick with mortar they used. In those days there was no cement at all. For instead of that they used lime or mortar, and with brick or stone jellies to fill the inner gap of the wall. So this is the technology they used in those days. The outer stone blocks form the molding of desired nature, because generally the outer molder, inner wall generally is a plain, and the outer wall we have some motifs, the architectural motifs they have to put on the desired nature. But inner masonry gives strength to stand any gravitational external forces. These are the technology they used during this time. The material selection, the geologist purview, what they are saying is, this is a magnificent structure to withstand the natural chemical action of study the chronocite. It is not the not only the granite, the specific the granite known as the carnocite was selected from Manamalai. This is where Trishapalli region. There is a quarry at Manamalai in Trishapalli region. This type of stone is known as charnocite. Charnocite is a kind of granite stone. It's known as charnocite. They brought from Manamalai region in Trichalpalli, and some of the stones from the Narthamalai region also. Sculptures like Dwarabala stone from Pachamalai region, as well as in the vicinity of our area, that is Pondicherry area, Pachamalai region, and other places. Stones from Ubbanam, there is Ubbanam. Stones some Ubams, Ubam, Stupe, Karnataka are also identified. They identify the chemist and other technical people identified some stones from Upam, Stupe, Karnataka are also identified. Main lingam selection from Thiruvakkarai. I mentioned that the main lingam, this black stone, and other sculptures from Thiruvakkarai. It's still the quarry stone works are there at Thiruvakkarai. So they are all black stone. The deities and some of the lingam, the huge lingam, they made from Thiruvakkarai. This is the front. There is a Nandi Mandapa. That was a contribution of Nayaks, I told you. Then this is the entire Vimana. This is the on the base of Vastu, on the base of temple architecture. They made it this Vimana. So this is the hollow Vimana. You can see afterwards. This is the plan of the Garbhagriha. You can see the center portions. We have the Nandi. There is a circular passage, and that is a Pradarshana Pada within the Garbhagriha. This is known as Sandhara type. So we have the first occurrence of this type we have at Kailasanatha temple, and again in the later period, the Nathamalai temple also we have the same type. Here this is the good Pradarshana Pada, and the circular passage. We are having paintings of Chola period, and above that we have Nag's paintings. So after removing the Nag's paint only, we recovered the Chola paintings. So here we have the Chola paintings as well as the Nag's paintings in the passage, in the 7-meter passage. So this is the main entrance is on the east, and the windows, the dwaras on 3 sides we have. It is attached with the Pradakshina Pada in a raised platform. So this is the plan of the sanctum. This is the Garbhagriha. This is known as Dakshina Meru. The Rajarajaswaram temple Vimana is known as Dakshina Meru, consisting of 13 tiers. I have mentioned that the Kudu Salas in diminishing order in the each tala we have. Then the front, the eastern side, now you are seeing the eastern side. We have the depiction of Kailasa, but that was the latter editions. We don't have during the time of Rajaraja. That was the latter editions by the latter people, by the latter dynasties. So 13 tiers with high plinth and Upapida. So entire Vimana is covered with gold plates in those days, during the time of Rajaraja. So in order to raise the Vimana height, they first made Upapida. Again, above that we have the Adhisthana, and it runs up to 2 tiers. The entire Vimana portion starts from in the second floor only, the hollow Vimana. So if you go and stand in the Garbhagriha, inside the Garbhagriha, you can find the top portions of the bottom portions of the Kalasa there. Up to that it is hollow shape, that is hollow. So the surprising is the temple is consecrated on the Vimana by putting Kalasa. They already fixed the preceding deity, the Linga. It is huge in shape. It is not possible to take into the Garbhagriha because the entrance is the entrance of the Vimana, entrance of the Garbhagriha is very small. We cannot take the huge linga inside the Garbhagriha when they made the consecrations, the consecration ceremony. They installed first the linga, then only they built the Vimana around it, encircled the walls. After that only, first they installed, after made the Adhisthana, the bottom portions of the Vimana, the floor level, they raised the floor level and up to the Adhisthana portions. Then they fixed the linga, they consecrated the linga, then they made all these walls, all these 13 tiers. So this is the typical temple we have in Tamil Nadu of Chola period. This is the plan of the temple. You see the kudus and panjaras, and also the salas, and again the panjaras and kudus. So it runs in a pyramidal way, pyramidal roof, in a diminishing order, and we have the griva and sigara. Again, above that we have the kalasa. This is the order, this is the thing. So up to 2 floors we have the square plan, and above that we the pyramidal roof. It starts from the second tier of the temple. This is the southern side of the elevations we have. This is the plinth portions of the Adhisthana portions and Upapida of the temple. So you see the Upapida in a raised platform, and above that we have the Adhisthana. They made it in Virita Kumuda, and the um, line motifs are there, the friezes are there. All the components of the Adhisthana portions we have in this temple. It is raised above the Upapida. The Adhisthana generally they won't put a Upapida in order to um, make lofty Vimana. They annex this Upapida. Two-tier, the Bhumi. This is the interlinked inner. The Vimana is the wall. It stands above the two-tier. After that two-tier, the square tire they made, then above that only the the pyramidal roof starts. Interlinked inner and outer walls at second tala, which served as the base of the pyramidal portions of the Vimana. If you go there, you can find out. This is the two walls. This is Sandara type. It joined at the top level. This is known as this is the interlinked stones, and it runs very close when it runs to the top. So this is the technique of engineering technique of our Chola engineers. You see here, this is the plan. This is the in this way the inner scheme is they made it the two-tier, then it goes. This is the view of our Vimana as well as the Rajarajan Tiruvasal and the entire enclosures. This is the Pradakshina Pada on the around the sanctum. This is the Chandara type. You know that the two walls will be there. So in the inner wall we have the Chola paintings, the beautiful Chola paintings that is known as fresco. We have the story of Sundaramurti Nayanar, the Tadutarkonda Pranam, and we have the Dakshinamurti, the saint is sitting under the banyan tree, and also we have the earliest specimen of our Siddhamaran temple. Rajaraja himself, along with his wives, he worshipped the Ponnambalam. It is there in the painting hall here. So he visited Siddhamaram and worshipped that is the tutelary god of the Cholas, the Siddhamaram. Generally, they consider the Siddhamaram temple, the Shiva, as the family god. So they used to go there and they patronage everything. And there is a painting of Rajaraja and his wives, and many people, local officials also accompanied with him. It is there, the temple, the roof, the Gobram in those days, during the time of Rajaraja, it was looks like a Kerala type of Gobrams, the tile roof. This is the paintings so you can come across in the painted hall in the Pradakshina Pada. This is murals, the Chola period. Above that, we have Nayaka um, paintings. The Archival Survey of India removed all the Nayaka paintings, and now they exhibit the Chola paintings. A few more Chola paintings still they have to remove. It is not possible to remove that. Then we have some Maratha paintings also in the Subramania temple mandavas, Maratha inscriptions. In the we have paintings. It is not in the Pradakshina Pada, it is in the mandapa of Subramania temple, Subramania shrines. This is again I shown that already I shown the plan. Uh, this is the ambulatory path around the Sanctum Chola and Nayaka period, Pragara Mandapa of Ammanshain, Nandi Mandapa, and they are all Maratha period. The location of the Chola murals. So I wanted to show that. The first one indicated here is for Dakshinamurti on the southern side of the Pradakshinapada. You can enter in the vestibule portions. Generally, it was used by the people in those days. So they can go up to Garbhagriha. They can enter and they witnessed all the paintings. For that purpose only, they made it. So in those days, they were allowed uh, up to Garbhagriha. So it shows that it is the place, it is the way near the Garbhagriha. So this is on the southern side we have a passage, but it served as a window, dwaras, not for passing purpose, not for going purpose. So the first number we have Dakshinamurti, and it's beautifully it is painted, and above that we have the Kailasa that Rajaraja and his family and other gods and goddesses are depicted on the paintings, and we have the Bhairava also, the standing Bhairava with his dog. It is very near to Dakshinamurti painting. Then some of the animals also they are shown uh, in the trees. And the second one is this is Tadutarkonda Puranam. You know the Tadutarkonda Puranam. It is attached with the Sundaramurti Nayanar. He wanted to marry and it was stopped by the old man. He was a Siva. So he showed some families. He showed some document to the people of elder people of the village in the marriage hall itself. So he said that he has written a document. He had an agreement with me that I am a slave to him, slave to the old man. Then he simply refused. I didn't said like that. Then he showed his documents to all the people. Everybody is having like Xerox copy of the copy of the copy. So all people are having families in their hands. So in one family, there is a inscriptions written in painting red ochre. It shows that either Ariven, the last man's signature. I know the fact. It is true that he accepted that he was a slave. It is there. Either even move and they were on in a miniature form. It is written. Even the painter had a knowledge to write the letters with a very beautiful manner. It is there. We also found that these are all new things. Nobody knows because we consequently we visited very often this temple and we made it institute studies. That's why I'm saying. So I found that inscription on the leaves of the families of the paintings. So either even move and the velan, it is there. So in those days, the architect and the painter they were very much keen noted to make everything very neatly. It is there. Then again we have on the third that was the place for Narraja. This is also beautiful painting. Then Rajaraja with the beard and also his wives are standing and worshipping the Naraja. Naraja is in Tandava along with the Kali is also there. Then Karakyalamar also is shown and the people of the city also witnessing the worship of Rajaraja and some of the people welcoming him. They are all uh, uh, depicted on the painting. Then the fourth one is the consecration of the temple. It is a newly discovered. The consecration of the temple, the entire Vimana is shown in the paintings. consecration of the Pradeshwara temple. They made some festivals. They even the dancers performing some dances and other things. So this is the consecration of the temple. Then the fifth is also we have, and also we have the marriage scene of Shiva and Parvati with the help of Vishnu. And the sixth is also we have the Tribhuradaka. This is also very beautiful painting within the complex of the Vimana around the Garbhagriha wall. Then against the Tribhuradaka, the Tribhuradaka is beautifully they painted here. Against the next above the opposite wall, we have the that that man Ravana, Ravana pushing Kailasa. So the Ravana scene is there. So the Tiruvurandaka is interesting that he made a war against the demons, and afterwards finally the Buddha came and he cooled down the Shiva. It is there. The Buddha painting is also there above the painting. We have the Buddha and all the Hindu pantheons, all the Hindu gods and goddesses, including Kali, then Brahma and Vishnu and his sons Vinayaka and also the Kartikeya. They were all attended the war, but he simply laughed at them. So with the help of them only, they thought that with the help of them only, he could have succeeded. He could have the Shiva managed to win the demands, the three demands. So the story is well depicted in the form of paintings on the wall of the Garbhagriha, in the Pradakshina Pada itself. So this is the painting. We have some more paintings also. They have not cleared. It was then the fresco, again the fresco made by the Nayaks. They made it without having the knowledge of preserving the Chola paintings. So still more paintings we have in the first floor also. We have the remnants of paintings of Chola period. This is the painting area. This is the Vimana inner portions. You see the hollow type of Vimana. You can see the Linga. From the Linga to top, you can see the hollow portions. During the time of late period only, around after the after taking by the Archaeological Survey of India, the conservator they made the roof in the second floor, in the first floor, in the second floor, in order to prevent the linga. So this is, if you go there, you can see the entire Vimana, the hollow type of Vimana. So far we don't have anywhere in India this kind of the hollow type, because already they consecrated the linga, then only the built the walls around the linga, the Garbhagriha. This is the inner schemes. You can see that top portions of the inner schemes. First, we have the circular, the square type, and it goes up to 4 talas to 5 talas. And again, we have the circular inner schemes. They made of stone, fully made of the stone. It is not a brick stone, a brick. This is made of stone only. This is the another view of the inner portions of the Garbhagriha. You can see this. Above that, above the top of the Vimana, we have the Kalasa. This is the other view, the corbels. You can see the corbels. This is the Nataraja of Chidambaram, dedicated to Adavallan. This is the Nataraja with the Durga also, the Kali is also witnessing, and that Karakalam is sitting, and she enjoyed the dance of Shiva, and also in the, this is Ponnambalam, this is the Ponnambalam part of Chidambaram temple. The King Rajaraja is standing along with his wives, and some attendants also there. Some of the local people, the local leaders, they came and welcomed the king. So this is the painting, beautiful painting of Rajaraja period, Chola paintings. Generally, Rajaraja is having many titles. The one title is Sivabhadra Sekara. Sivabhadra Sekara. This is the top portions of we are standing when we are doing conservation work. We are standing. We are witnessing the work of the people, work of the cleaning work of the Vimana. So this is the top portions. We have on the northwestern side we have the Sivaganga tank. So I have mentioned that it could be the Tanjai Talikulam. In those it was Talikulam. It was surrounded by moat wall and moat also. Then there was a canal. They dug during the time of British period. Now the irrigation canal is there from Vadavaru. It comes from Vadavaru. So on the southern side we have the canals very near to that temple. This is a Sivaganga tank. So you are seeing that. So this is the Kalasa. You see the Kalasa. This is 11 feet height. So this is the Kalasa consecrated after the construction of the temple. So 11 feet height. It's made of Panchaloga, and again it was renovated by the subsequent kings, subsequent dynasties. We have the inscription of Maratha, Saraboji second inscriptions on the Kalasa itself. They made some repairs, so it is there. So this is 11 feet. The people are thinking that the Griva is made of single stone, 80 tons cage, but that is not correct. It consists of 8 separate stones. They fixed like that without any gap. They fixed the entire the Griva portions with 8 stones. 80 each stones having 10 tone, but it is a separate stone. Then even the shadow will also come. So generally they are saying that the Vimana is not, so it won't pass shadow, but it comes in the midday. So these are the history of our Hridayeshwara temple. It is constructed within 6 years. That is the beauty of the temple. So he planned the plan for the construction around 1004 AD, and afterwards, after 2 years, around 1006 AD, he started Bhumi Puja, and he finished in 10 AD. So he ruled up to 14 AD, and we have beautiful dancers, bas relief sculpture in the second floor. So I have forgotten to mention that in the second floor of the Garbhagriha, there is a Pradakshina Pada. The inner circular passage is there. Below we have the paintings. The second floor we have the blocks of stone with the 108 dancers. The karnas were there, but this one is unfinished. Only 81 we have. Totally we have 108 karnas. We have at Kumbakonam as well as Chidambaram. The 108 karnas is the portraits, sculptures of 108 karnas are there at Chidambaram as well as in Kumbakonam. But here we have only 81. Karnas are there. So it shows that after Rajaraja, his son Rajendra Chola changed his capital. Changed his capital to Ganga. He shifted his capital to Gangakonda Sodapuram. He left the place and he stayed always in Gangakonda Sodapuram, and he made yet another temple that is also known as Pragdishwara Periya Koil, Rajendra Soliswaram. It is known as Rajendra Soliswaram. The same form he also adopted. We will see that in the um, next classes, next portions. It is continuation of next portions. Due to recording, I cut short this. So after Rajaraja, the Tanjavur lost their glory, and the entire the government shifted to Gangakonda Sodapuram, and Rajendra went there and they built a temple, a separate temple for him. That's why this is the temple. But we have Rajendra inscriptions here also. He patronized the um, he also made some donations to the temple, and also afterwards the Pandyas came and they built the Amman shrine there, and also the nice contributions we have in the form of um, the Subramania shrines, and we have the contribution of our Marathas. Um, they built the Vinayagar shrines on the southwestern corner. So this is the history of architecture of Rajarajeshwaram or Pragadeshwara temple of Tanjavur. Thank you very much.